So the last session before the break, we're delighted to be joined by Stephanie, the Digital Product Manager at Suncorp. She's going to be talking around designing the future of websites. So Stephanie's invention is a machine that gets her son dressed and his teeth cleaned in the morning in just 1 second. So if that was a reality. So please, a huge warm welcome for Stephanie.
Thank you, Matt. I do wish we talked about these inventions before we started. I probably would have picked something a little bit deeper than just trying to get out of the house on time. So thanks, Dave. Lots of thanks going to Dave this morning. So yeah, I am here to talk to you about the future era of websites at Suncorp. So before I kick off, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today. I pay my respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, people, their elders past, present and emerging. So a little bit about Suncorp Group, for those of you who are not as familiar. We are a large insurer, so some of our insurance brands on the screen here. So Amy, our national brand. We also have GAO, Shannon's for the car enthusiasts in the room. Vero is our intermediated brand. We're also a bank currently, Suncorp Bank, and we have an insurance business over in New Zealand as well. So I'm a digital product manager within the Insurance Australia business. So I run a team of awesome product owners who look after the websites for those insurance brands. So within digital distribution, we sort of distribute over 50 products digitally. So that's your home and motor insurance, health insurance, life insurance, business insurance. We have over 50 assets that we distribute these products through. So that includes your websites, sales funnels. We've got lots of sort of self-service portals, a few mobile apps, chatbots, and a couple of digital humans floating about as well. Talking about humans, we have 140 digital superstars, not minions, superstars within Suncorp that are delivering up to 20 tests a month. So it's a pretty mature conversion rate optimisation program, and all of it is guided by our purpose at Suncorp, which is all around building and protecting what matters to our customers. And today what I'm going to talk you through is our new era of websites. So we have been working on a framework which is called Awaken, which is all around how do we design the future of websites. And it's called Awaken because we're all about awakening the value we have in these really large insurance websites that are currently online. So that mature, always-on conversion rate optimisation program has been really successful for Suncorp and for these individual brands. So it has taken our sort of online sales, say 5 years ago, we were sitting in the low 40% mark in terms of sales that went through the online channel compared to those going through the call centre. Over the last 5 years, that's increased to over 70 as a group. But for some of our brands, like the Amy brand particularly, that's in the 80s. So always-on optimisation has been great for us, and those small incremental changes have really benefited the group. But what it's also led to is a decade of additions to these sites. So they're quite large, there's lots of pages in them, and it's not necessarily living up to our purpose in digital distribution, which is all around making digital human through smart, simple and trusted digital experiences. So we've developed this framework for the future of websites. It's made up by 5 streams. Each stream has a clear focus, but they're all sort of interconnecting. So the first one is the risk stream, which no one ever gets excited about, but I'm really excited about this one. So those large websites have heaps of product content on them. As an insurer, we need to ensure that that content is accurate. At the moment, that's really manual. So we have lots of people spending time going through all this content. We have some awesome data scientists right now building a generative AI model that's going to do that for us in days rather than weeks, months and years. So I'm really excited about the risk stream, although not everyone is. The second stream is around customer experience. So how can we take a step back from this always-on incremental change and actually look at those journeys? What are customers coming to the websites to do, and how do we make it easy for them to do that? The third one is around enhanced insights, which I will definitely be talking to Manisha in the break about this. But we have great insights from a channel reporting, and once someone gets into the funnel, so once they click get a quote, there are really good insights coming out of that. But due to the complexity and size of our websites, we don't have as good insights in terms of our customer journeys through that site. Fourth is all around ease. So how can we build a content infrastructure in the background so we can have one piece of content surfaced across multiple pages, multiple websites, multiple assets? And then finally, the largest, ideally, is all around like the platform. So Web Vitals and also accessibility. So we've put these two together because accessibility is so important for us at Suncorp, and without a platform, we won't have a website. So we feel like coupling them together ensures that accessibility gets the focus it deserves. So today I'm going to talk to you about the pathways of intent stream, and not just what we're doing in this space, but how we're doing it, because the team actually took a different approach to ensure that we break down some of the silos we do see. So why pathways of intent? So this is all around designing a pathway based on what the customer came to do, rather than sort of where we want the customer to go. So I'll do a quick poll before we jump in. Who spends some of their spare time on the internet, scrolling through websites, scrolling through apps? Hands up. Now, who likes to, in that spare time, spend their time scrolling through insurance websites? Not even my POs in the crowd have put their hands up. Oh, there we go. Got a couple. Thank you, Priscilla. That was awesome. So if you do like looking at insurance websites, I've got a couple of great ones for you to have a look through. So this is a very blurry picture, but it's our current AAMI comprehensive car insurance page. So AAMI being our national brand, our largest brand, motor arguably being one of the biggest products. And it's a lot of information on there. And don't get me wrong, this has been tested to an nth degree of its life. So every addition to this page has been tested, it has won, and it has helped us move to that 80% sales, but it's also resulted in a really large page built around products and product structures and internal structures rather than around customer intent. In addition to obviously the obvious, we also have heaps of data supporting us moving away from this sort of product-driven and moving back to customer intents. So we know we have 4 primary intents. So customers come to our websites with 4 tasks in mind. They want to get a quote, so they want to see a price. They want to manage their current policy, so change details, add cover. They want to make a claim or see where their claim is at, or they want to educate themselves. So understanding how to protect what matters to them takes time, and they want to get some information. We know that only 20% of people are scrolling on our AAMI site currently, so all that info on the previous page, only 20% are seeing anything past that first frame. We know 20 pages on AAMI account for 70% of unique visitors. And just to be clear, there are heaps more pages than 20. And then finally, this one came out of a small user testing group, but we had some customers go through some of our product content, and at the end, only 50% really understood it, which is a huge concern for us. So this is why we started the journey of going back down user pathways, customer pathways in our digital experiences. So what we want to be able to do is build a seamless website experience that is tailored for each customer, that solves both that transactional intent, so someone coming that just wants to get a quote, they've got no time, they don't want to research, they want to see a price, but also those customers that want to educate. So 2 different customers there. We want to proactively serve up digestible pieces of information, and at the end, we need the customer to feel empowered and confident to stay in that channel. What we don't want to do is drive customers down a particular path that they don't necessarily want to be in. So this was the challenge we gave to the team, so not a simple task. And before I jump into how they approached it, I want to give a little bit of info about how we work currently in terms of BAU. Now, this picture's pretty extreme. We definitely have silos. They're not this bad. But at the moment, we have the team sort of delivering 20 tests a month. I would say there's hundreds of optimizations to those websites every month. So they're delivery machines. The product owners and their digital specialists are working together to constantly incrementally improve those pages. But what it has led to is sort of people doing things, doing their own task, getting their piece out of the way, giving it back to the product owner delivers. We've lost some of that collaboration and actually getting together to creatively problem solve for things. So the team wanted to approach it differently, but we needed to approach it within, the normal constraints of a corporate. We had to maintain pace. We can't be sitting here in 5 years' time mapping out these pathways because they will be different in 5 years' time. We didn't have a whole bucket of project money to throw at this, so it had to be current resources, current structure. We wanted to not only design out the experiences, but have it validated in a short period. And we wanted to make sure we were maximising this collaboration so we could get some creative ideas of how to actually build these pathways on customer intents. And at the end, the task we gave the team was a validated prototype that we could move into production now. So not just future state. And where they landed was a design sprint. So who in the crowd has participated in a design sprint before? A few of you. So not a new concept, obviously pioneered by Google Ventures. Design sprints are really there to give you a structured, time-bound approach to rapid validation, ideation, prototyping, and testing. So it's leveraging all those sort of design thinking methodologies to make sure we're focusing on the customer the entire way through, and we're speeding up that design and validation of a solution. So not a new concept. We use design sprints at Suncorp a lot in that innovation space or in the pure sort of customer experience space, but we hadn't been doing this in websites. We were sort of more approaching it. We leveraged Agile and we had a sticky team delivering different pathways, but not an end-to-end pathway in one go. So the team went off, and what was awesome about this is it was all self-led. We didn't say go and do a design sprint. We said we want to map out these pathways, how to approach it, and the team did this themselves. So they pulled together a team of all levels. We had grads, some of them in the room, right up to leaders who participated. Frontline staff were involved, so our call centre staff, the whole range of digital specialists. We had a couple of researchers, some innovation specialists as product teams, and they were all dedicated for a week. And this is what the week looked like. So on Monday, it was really about diving in and understanding that customer. So what are their pains, gains, opportunities, and how do we define the problem from their point of view? So we had a very clear business side problem, but how do we make sure we were defining it from the customer? And then they started ideating. On Tuesday, it was full ideation. So all the ideas came out, they were refined, they were ideated again. Wednesday was all prototyping. So the key for this was we wanted a working prototype. So a prototype that the customer could feel and play with in testing. We didn't want to test any concepts because we want to move things into delivery quickly. And then Thursday, Friday, we had to fix some of the prototyping. It was a big task to get our poor designers to actually have a working prototype in one day. So we did a little bit on Thursday, and then Friday finished up with testing, synthesizing, and feature prioritization. So those of you super familiar with design sprints, you'll notice that we've tweaked it. There's a methodology that you're meant to follow. We did change it to meet our needs. And I really recommend if anyone's going to do it, to take that approach. So we gave more time in prototyping so it wasn't just concept, and we gave more time in testing because we wanted to talk to more customers. So fully encourage you guys, if you're going to take this approach, to go down that path. The key that was the entire week was always bringing it back to that customer. What was the intent and what did they come to the website to do? So the scope of this first sprint that we ran in September was all around the motor pathway of intent. So customers coming to the AAMI site to purchase motor insurance, but those that wanted the transactional and the education. So those who just want to see a price and those who want to educate themselves first. And this was the result. So after the week, this was the educational intent. Before I jump into the CX features here, I just want to quickly jump back to this page currently on the website. So that's our current page. And this is where we landed after that week of really getting into the customer, getting into all those insights and designing out something that allowed them to approach this intent. So the CX drivers here were all around ease, transparency, trust, and value. Hopefully you can see from an ease perspective, we've significantly reduced the content on the page, which is a tricky balance, knowing that we wanted people to be confident to make a decision. So product comprehension is important to our customers. They needed to understand the product, but we also know no one's scrolling. So how can we do that in a short, concise space? So that was the first feature, was all around ease. And the feedback from customers is that they were able to get product comprehension from this reduced content. A key to that, which was also around building trust, is this new inclusion of what's not covered. So it's an easy toggle on the first page here. We are very good at Suncorp at talking about the features of our products, what it covers, what it does for you. We weren't as good at sort of showing what's not included. So what are the events or things that wouldn't be covered by your insurance? So this was a new feature that we included, and that's what customers really said. One, made them feel that they got the product and they knew what they were going to get for their money, but also felt like we were building trust with them, being so transparent about what's not there so they could make that informed decision. The final CX driver, if I can get it to move, is this one here around value. So we know value for customers means different things to different people. So this is where we're bringing in that hyper personalisation. So customers that we know are really driven by price, we would potentially surface this $50 off online messaging, but our customers that are more driven by sort of comprehensiveness or that knowing that we will be there when it matters, we would look to sort of display one of our claims messages, which gives you that confidence that when it comes down to it, we are making claims. So that one there was the educational intent. The second intent, so in this week, the guys delivered 2 full pathways, which is pretty phenomenal. This is the second one, transactional intent. It was end-to-end. So what you can't see on the screen here is when they've Googled, so what comes up from an SEM perspective. We included digital marketing in it as well. But this is once you land on the page. The first 2 screens here are the home page. The middle is a new pre-quote conversation that we included as part of the design sprint. And then the final page is that personalisation for when customers come back. So in this environment, we are seeing a huge increase in shoppers. So people coming in, doing a quote, and then coming back a second or third time to look at the same quote and then purchase. So we wanted to make sure we were improving that experience as well. So let's do another quick poll before I jump into these ones. From our experience, there are two kind of shoppers when you go into a physical store. So you're going to a physical store, say a JB Hi-Fi or a Myer, like a big shop. You're going to buy something you haven't purchased before and you have no idea where it is. Are you the sort of person that walks in, sees the customer service staff there and asks them for help? Hands up. Me, that's definitely me. Or are you the kind of person that sort of meanders around the store for 15 minutes like my partner does? Probably walks past two customer service people on the way to find it yourselves. Okay, see, I just don't get you people, but fear not, we included features for both, not just for me, but for others. So the first feature you see here on the screen is a pathing experience. So this is leveraging our conversational AI to allow people like me to type straight in what I'm looking for and be taken straight there. Or I could just use the prompts, which are based on the primary intents we know users are coming to the site on. For people that prefer to meander and do things yourselves, fear not, you can scroll down and there's really easy designs there for you to select sort of your adventure, go where you want to go. Back to this pathing experience, this is one of the interesting things that came out of the sprint in terms of a now, next and later. So for now, we'll be looking basically to incorporate our chatbot AI conversational technology into the design. How many of you in the room use chatbots across your sites? A couple? Here and there? Oh, more. So we sort of get mixed reviews from our chatbots, to be honest. There's definitely a mental model there for people to jump over to engage with it. So currently you have to click in the bottom right corner to get the chatbot to come up. And we're finding people don't want to do that. And maybe that's for sort of historic early interactions with chatbots not meeting their needs. So we've got a bit of a hurdle there. But what we're finding, once people are in the chatbot, more often than not, it answers their questions. It gets them to where they need to go quickly. Gone are the days of the very sort of colourful chatbot transcripts of customers not being satisfied. We've actually really progressed that technology. So this design is looking to sort of jump that hurdle and integrate it into the design so customers can get to where they need to go without having that mental model of having to click on the chatbot. The second feature we have here is this sort of pre-conversational flow. So remembering this is our transactional intent. So this is customers that just want to see a price. But if they were to call our call centre, we don't just jump in and say, what sort of car have you got? There's a bit of a conversation before it starts. So this is really bringing it back to our purpose of making it human and bringing in some really simple, quick one-question pages to make sure we're putting the person into the right quote, into the product that they're looking for, and then really quickly covering sort of top features of the product as well. So it's still meeting their need of getting a quote straight away, but ensuring that we're also sort of talking them through the process and making it a bit more humanised. And then finally, back to this hyper-personalisation. So moving past that general sort of welcome back message, but sort of sharing features and details of the product that the customer has already done a quote for. So that was the transactional intent. So after the design sprint, I think we had 64 ideas. We had 8 fully mapped out pathways. 3 got tested with customers. And these were the 2 that ended after testing and validation in terms of these are the ones that really passed with the customers. And what did the customers say? So key takeaways out of, I think it was 1,400 data points that we got from customer testing: better task efficiency. So what they came to do, they were able to do easier. It was easier to access the info, but also their understanding and comprehension of the information was significantly increased. Reduced cognitive load, which hopefully you guys saw from the design. And then finally, the most important was that empowered to self-serve. So we are looking to meet the needs of our customers in the digital channel. We don't want them to have to call the call centre just to get that confidence that they're buying the right thing. And we saw a significant improvement in that empowerment. So learnings from the sprint. One of the biggest ones from the leadership team perspective is just giving the team that sort of stretch to approach it the way they want to take a step back from BAU, identify that approaching a full end-to-end customer experience and that complex intersection of assets in our digital world through our BAU wasn't going to work, and they needed to take a step back and take a different approach. And where we landed was sort of shifting people out of that skill speciality into problem solving, and we got a much better outcome as a result. So biggest learning for us is do design sprints, or more so, just let your team approach the problems the way that they think is best. The access to creativity as a result of that was huge. So as I said, 64 ideas to solve the same problem within a week, all fleshed out. Expedited solution development. So in that week, that 5-day period, we had two working prototypes that were then validated within the week as well. And we have multiple outcomes. So we have some current features that are inbuilt at the moment that will be tested on the Amy site live over the next couple of weeks. We have some features we need to flesh out a little bit more with our user experience and now with our devs teams. So we did go a bit blue sky, and now we've got the developers going, what can we do now? And then we have some later. So some of those blue sky elements we definitely need some more development support on to get them going. And finally, the empowerment and enthusiasm from the team. So this sprint was run in September. By the Friday, everyone was exhausted. So we had a sort of 4:30 check-in meeting, and definitely energy levels were low on Friday. But come Monday, we had just a groundswell of people wanting to do the next design sprint, which is super exciting for us because we have lots more pathways to map out. So helpful that we've got people that want to be in part of the process. So what's next? We are delivering the Design Sprint 1 via A/B tests on the live Amy site. We have our next pathway sprint kicking off at the end of this month. So we're looking to jump into managing claims and managing policies, so how people service their policy. And then we've also started off these stretch sprints. Now, I know I've put these under later. They'll be later in terms of a delivery, but the stretch sprints are happening now. So how are we going to ideate around what is that future interaction that we want on our websites for customers? We know people don't want to be scrolling through all that information, so what other options do we have to service that up? And then what technology solutions do we need to start exploring now to be able to do that? So thank you for your time today. I hope you got something out of this. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.